you solve a problem with time travel. Well, really, what I'm talking about is a technique that you can use to get over those blocks, to get over those points where everybody's just sort of at a point they can't figure out how to solve the issue. Now, certainly sometimes there's creative issues. You can't create the next step. Now, I'll deal with that in another brain blast. But this is where you get stuck in a problem and it's a difficulty and it's holding everybody back. It's a stuck thing. Now, this technique I actually use quite seriously in the psychotherapeutic area of my work. So it can be used for quite serious issues and quite difficult issues. But in this case, I don't want it to be, I'm not really teaching it in that frame. This is just a very quick look for someone who's got a block and just can't visualize, just can't get the next step. So that's what we're going to use. We're going to use our visualizing capacity. Now, this thing up here is a time traveler. That is what makes our brain so extraordinary. It can be here, now, in this moment, and we have mindfulness that tries to encourage us to do that really well, and that's a good idea. It can actually go back into the past through its memory, and that's a wonderful thing because it's really good to remember what went wrong or what went right so you can do it again or avoid the wrong thing. And it can also go and anticipate the future. Now, really, just spend half a second going, wow, that's pretty amazing. Not a lot of species can do this. You know, there's many that can, but there's a lot that can't. And it's an extraordinary capacity of our brain, and we need to use it. And we need to use it in a way that helps us be more amazing. So, here's the thing. You've got a problem. You've got a difficulty. And you're stuck in that difficulty. It could be a personal one, one at work, something to do with a family, whatever it is. It's a problem that just can't get solved, and you're stuck in it. So, first thing, we're going to use our imaginations. We're not going to have to work too hard. Now, I just want you to visualize, so imagine, just to visualize that there's a TV screen here, or a computer monitor, or something of that sort, just one of those monitors. We see them all the time. And it's just sitting beside you there. And in that screen, there's an image, there's a video going on, and it's actually exactly the same as the video that's going on right now. So if I was looking at my screen, there would be me with a brown shirt and a blue jacket and waving my arms around, which is what I do a lot. So that's the present moment. That's now. In that screen is now. Now what I want you to do is imagine there's a screen next to it. And that's sort of like earlier on this morning or earlier yesterday. And then I want you to imagine another screen beyond that, and another screen beyond that, and another screen beyond that. I don't know how many screens that you can sort of easily imagine in relation to this problem. But if this problem goes back a long way, then you might not even be able to see all the way back. But if this problem just goes back a little way, but let's just stick to the screens where we can see all the images. And I want you to place in your thinking, now this is the sort of stuff that was happening yesterday, and this is the sort of stuff that was happening last week, and that was the sort of stuff the week before that, and maybe that's the month before that, and yeah, that's the sort of thing. Oh yeah, and that's when we had that particular issue. And try and place specific issues and specific things that happened along this journey with this problem that is now at this stuck stage. Along this journey that bring you back to this screen here, which is you now here, a bit stuck, looking like you do, and a little perplexed, and your brain just not knowing where to go next. It's stuck here. So spend a little bit of time with that, and you might spend 5 or 10 minutes. And do this after the brain blast and run the session again. Now what I want you to do is I want you to imagine there's another screen directly in front of you. And you don't know what's on that. And then there's another one, and then maybe another one, maybe 2, maybe 3, 4 screens down. And you can look up into that screen. And it's amazing, because of course it's up there, it's in the future. And in that screen, 3 or 4 screens down the track, this problem's solved. Everything's gone well. Something has happened, something is solved, and just what you want to happen is happening up in that screen. And I want you to then look back onto this screen. Here am I now stuck, and I'm really frustrated, and my brain's all really in a mush. But then go over there and imagine that screen. And look at yourself in that screen. And you're feeling pretty good. And you're feeling pretty relieved. And you're feeling pretty okay. And you're feeling like, yeah, now I can keep going and I can move on to the next process. And I can get in and make some expansion. I can do something. Okay. Here, I don't feel good. There, I feel really good. But you know what? The magic is in these screens here. And you kind of look at those screens. And maybe it's 1, maybe it's 2, maybe it's 3. What did you do? What happened in those screens? What story emerged? What things were tried? What efforts were made? What togetherness was gained? Really, it's what you tried. It's what did you attempt in those screens that led you to that final one where everything's great. And in fact, if you can really do it, get right up there to that one and look back and say, wow, how did I get here? And you know, this might not solve your problem exactly, and I know sometimes it doesn't, but more often than not, people say, when I looked at it from up on that screen, I could see that I did the things that I actually knew I was going to do here. I actually knew what to do. But somehow my brain had shut down and I'd got stuck in all the story behind. The story behind doesn't matter. That's the story that matters. What happens on that screen, 3 or 4 down the track, where everything is good and everything works out. And I tell you, you can do it. It's all there in those 2 or 3 screens right in front of you.